Hey everybody, Sarah Eggleston here. Welcome back to This Week in Housing. We got a lot to cover today. There's a fair amount that happened this week. Weekly stats came out and so we got to get going. Let's jump right into it. Screen share. And all right, so here we are, This Week in Housing. So, news. There was a great article that came out yesterday. Yesterday, this came out. So, hot summer for Washington home shoppers, record breaking prices, and a cutthroat market. This is kind of leaning into what we've been talking about and the lack of inventory, the high buyer demand. So, you can see that I know going into the pandemic, there were a lot of people saying, "Hell, I'm going to hold off on buying homes because prices are going to drop. The economy is going down, prices are going to drop." And just trying to explain that that's not necessarily how things work. And we are seeing that play true here. For all four of the counties mentioned in here, King, Snohomish, Kitsap, and Pierce, they've all seen a pretty significant rise in home values year over year. So from last year, King County went from 680 to 727,500 for the median sales price. And that, that's a crazy jump for 1 year. You can see that in May, we kind of were headed back down, but we have rebounded for sure. And if you look at Pierce, the median sales price was $375 last year, and now it is $425. So that is, $50,000 price jump in 1 year for the median sales price for Pierce County. That's pretty significant. And you can see that that is true across pretty much everywhere. North King stayed the closest to the same. They only raised 2%, but like Southeast King County raising 11.5% on their median prices. And for closed sales, we're pretty close to where we were last year. North King saw a slight decline, but buyer demand's there. If there were more homes on the market right now, I'm sure that 2020 would be significantly higher. The buyer demand is out there, and I'm just not seeing the inventory to satisfy them. This came out on the 5th, so a couple days ago. New listings of homes for sale are finally ahead of last year. So this is showing the new pending sales and new listings this year compared to last year. And you can see that the new pending sales has risen above where we were last year, as have the new listings. So this is really great to see. We have a lot of pent-up demand. So seeing new listings come on the market is a fantastic thing. So if we rewind to last week, we talked about how we met another record low for mortgage rates. If we fast forward to this week, we did it again. I'm pretty shocked to see rates going down again so quickly, although this is a trend that a lot of people expect to see continue. Not huge drops, but remaining low and having these little tiny incremental drops. But I think this is the 8th record low that we have hit this year on interest rates. So we just keep ticking down, hit a record, tick down a little more, hit a record. And that is the trend we are seeing with interest rates. So if you haven't refinanced, if you have a mortgage on your home and you haven't refinanced yet, what are you waiting for? go do it right now. I have a client that I sold a house to year and a half ago, and she's looking at refinancing right now and gonna save probably $250, $300 a month. So that's a lot of money. It adds up over time, and saving that amount of money every month, yeah. What are you waiting for? Just go refinance. So taking a look at our current market, you can see that we have a few more listings this week compared to last week. We'll jump into residential and condo combined. So 992 for King County new listings in the last 7 days, 1,304 pending, 889 sold. So if we put that on our graph to see the trend of what's been happening since I've been doing these little updates, you can see that we are kind of staying pretty close to where we were last week. We're doing pretty well, pretty strong for the amount of inventory that we have on the market. So this is good to see. And so since it's the beginning of the month, my first update of the month, we have new monthly stats that came out. This one is from the current CEO of John L. Scott, J. Lennox Scott. So this breaks it apart into price points. This is for Southeast King County. Unfortunately, I don't have South King County in one whole data set for this. So I went with Southeast. And there is overall a 0.5 months of supply on the market right now. So this is a theoretical number. If no new homes came on the market, we run out of inventory in half a month. But you can see it varies by price point, with the 350K to 500 being our strongest. This is usually our strongest in this area, in this county, but anything below 750 is an extreme frenzy. Under $1 million is in frenzy, and then over $1 million is surge. And honestly, 57.9% of pendings of listings going 57.9% of listings going pending in the $1 million plus price range in the first 30 days is crazy. This is just showing that those low mortgage rates are increasing the purchase capacity for a lot of people. And yeah, this is the strongest I've seen the $1 million plus market in a long time. So this is from the MLS. This is for King County for the month end. So July, we actually so comparing to last year, we had 28.9% more listings come on the market this July than last July. So this is the first time we've seen a positive change in King County in this direction. So it's about time. We need the inventory. I feel like a broken record saying this, but so many buyers, so few sellers. So we are getting a few more sellers into the market. And you can see the average median sales price went up 7.4% in King County from last year, which is pretty phenomenal increase. That is higher than average. And the month supply last year at this time, or last year in July, it was 2.2 months, and in July this time it was 1.3. So you can see that things are moving faster, and yeah, so that's good to see. And this is the median sales price for King County compared to the entire MLS. So you can see that here in King County, we had a little bit of a dip during the beginning of the pandemic, but we came back pretty quick, and we are headed towards an upward trend on our home values. I'm going to blow through these really quick too, because I cover these every week. So I'll be touching base on these more next week. But the dark blue line is this year. The orange line is last year. So this is the new listings coming to the market. We have surpassed where we were last year. And this is for the whole MLS. So basically Western Washington. Pending listings, we are well above where we were last year. And sold listings, we are just slightly below where we were last year, but you can see we're heading, that the line is staying pretty, that they're hugging pretty close. So I feel like we're kind of heading back towards our more normal seasonal change, market change, when it's not affected by COVID. So we'll see how that plays out, but so far it's looking like it is starting to become more in line with what we saw last year. For showings for North America, from Showing Time, this is key unlock data. So any showings that are scheduled where somebody goes in and unlocks the door, you can see we are well above where we were last year. And I mean, honestly, we have been since May because of the lack of open houses. Since we can't do in-person open houses, it is anybody who wants to see a house has to have an agent open the door for them. In the past, pre-COVID, we had you could go to an open house and wander around and check out what was available without an agent. So if you're at the very beginning of your search, a lot of people would choose to go to open houses and see what's available. Now they're forced to go to an agent first and have them open the door. So some of this increase, I believe, is due to them needing somebody to open the door and not being able to go to an open house. But you can see that our trends are following the same lines as last year. We're just a little bit higher on showings. So that's good to see. And this is bringing it a little more local for the Western Washington, Northwest MLS area. This same week versus last year for 2020 is the dark line. You can see we had more showings than last year, but we're pretty close to where we were the week before. We actually raised less than about 0.5% from last week. So it seems like showings are pretty consistent in our area. So purchase applications, these are people that are applying for loans, home loans, for purchase home loans. And we have had 12 straight weeks of year-over-year increases. This is definitely due to the low interest rates right now. So over time, interest rates have been far higher than they are now, and they have come down, and we keep hitting those records, as I said earlier. But you can see that we have a lot of buyers that are getting ready to transact. Some of these people may have seen a home that they want to make an offer on. Others may be just prepping for their home search, but it's basically purchase applications. They've seen the home, they want to purchase it, and now they are getting approved. And yeah, this is a leading indicator of our future pending and sold sales. So it's good to see that is on the rise, although not surprising with the interest rates we've seen. So as far as layoffs, I'm coming over to unemployment. Layoffs decreased in Washington by 12%. So last week they had actually increased just very slightly. So to see a 12% decrease is pretty surprising. It was that swung the other way pretty quickly. I'm excited to see that. But this really blew my mind. So this was the map, the unemployment or the layoff map from last week for the nation. If we fast forward to this week, it's all blue. So this is, well, except for what Rhode Island over here. Pretty much every state in our union is reducing the number of layoffs that they have right now. And not to say that this is people regaining employment. We'll get to that in a second. But the this seeing this map all blue is phenomenal. People losing their jobs is not a good time. So this is happening way less, and I was shocked to see it was pretty much all blue this week. And for the cumulative unemployment numbers, these are everyone that's applied for unemployment. So what we really want to look at is the blue line, those currently collecting unemployment, because it's not a cumulative line. The 55 million people unemployed, that's a crazy number. 16 million unemployed is still high, but it is significantly better than 55 million. So a lot of these people are going back to work, and yeah, it's good to see. This chart I did think was very interesting of the economy. So the economy gained 1.8 million jobs last month, and this breaks it apart to what industry. So you can see leisure and hospitality is definitely making a comeback. I thought it would take a little bit longer for most of leisure and hospitality to see an increase in jobs this big, but that's what we're seeing. The only and government is coming back. A lot of people were furloughed and they're now coming back. Education, a lot of people are coming back into the education because schools are starting soon. So I'm not sure how much of this is regaining employment because they lost it due to COVID, or how much of it is just going back to school time. But this is, I thought it was very interesting, so I thought I'd share. So this is rewinding for what people thought the Q2 forecast was going to be for our economy. A lot of the major institutions, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, the average forecast for Q2. So this is looking back to Q1, looking forward to Q2, was negative 30.8%. But so if we look forward, and Q2 was pretty bad for the economy, no denying that. But Q3, the original 5 forecasters are here, and they are all suggesting growth for Q3. Plus, this chart shows 4 additional forecasters, and pretty much everyone across the board is very optimistic about Q3 as far as the economy is concerned. And I thought this was an interesting quote. Indeed, the worst ever GDP reading could be followed by the best ever growth in the third quarter. So we plunged pretty hard, but we're like throwing a tennis ball against the ground. It hits the ground really fast, and then it comes back up really fast. So this is really great for our economy to see. And this little black box here, these are economists talking about the housing market. An astonishing rebound. This is my favorite. Stared the pandemic straight in the eye and hasn't blinked. So really the housing market, and these are economists saying this. Economists don't talk like this. Economists talk in facts and numbers and very cut and dry. And this, to see such emotion in the comments of economists is like pretty shocking. So that is really good to see. I think we surprised some of high-level economists by how strong the housing market remained during this whole pandemic. So this is my last slide. I'm trying to rush through it because there was a lot to cover today. The resilience of the housing market continues as mortgage rates hit another all-time low, giving potential buyers more purchasing power and strengthening demand. We expect rates to stay low and continue to propel the purchase market forward. However, the main barrier to rising demands remains the lack of inventory, especially for entry-level homes. So those under the $500,000 price point, a while back you saw the extreme frenzy, and those are the entry-level homes, and there's just such a huge shortage of them. So this is just showing that buyers have a crazy amount of purchasing power increase, and then there's nothing for them to buy. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I do love talking about real estate. Hold on, let me stop my share here. So thank you so much for joining me. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out. There was a lot to cover today, so I did go through it kind of fast. Hopefully you'll tune in next week to see where things go from here. But overall, the housing market is pretty strong, especially on the buyer demand side. And it is great news to see more listings coming on the market at this time. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow, depending on what platform you're watching this program on, whether you're watching me live on Facebook here or watching the replay later on my website or IGTV or YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can keep getting these updates in the future. All right, I will see you next Friday at 3 right back here. All right, have a great week.